Hi, everyone. My name is Mira Clarke. I'm the Executive Director of Action Read Community Literacy Center, and I'm going to read our 2020 Annual General Meeting minutes to you now. Action Read Community Literacy Center 30th Annual General Meeting minutes, September 23rd, 2020. Present. There is a list of all who were present at the meeting. Regrets. There is a list of those who provided their regrets. Minutes were done by Lynn Verino, and the AGM host was Leah Sadler, our board chair. Number 1, welcome and introductions. Leah introduced herself and explained the purpose of the AGM and the voting process, along with the Zoom protocols to be used during the meeting. Territorial acknowledgement. Cindy Garland read the following statement of acknowledgement of traditional territory to begin the evening. As we gather, we are reminded that Guelph is situated on treaty land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history and is home to many First Nations, Métis, mixed ancestry, and Inuit people today. As members of the Guelph community, we have a responsibility for the stewardship of the land on which we live and work. Today, we acknowledge the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, on whose traditional territory we are gathering. Number 2, approval of the agenda. Leah reviewed the following. Number 1, welcome and introductions, territorial acknowledgement. 2, agenda. 3, minutes from the 2019 AGM. 4, 2019-2020 financial statement. 5, bylaws. 6, 2019-2020 annual report. 7, strategic plan. 8, elections. 9, awards and thanks. And 10, closing of the meeting and announcement. Leah asked for a motion to approve the 2020 AGM agenda. Sandy Rogers moved to accept the agenda. Connor McKenna seconded. All approved, motion carried. 3, minutes from the 2019 AGM. As an attachment of the minutes, along with a link to the recording of Linda Lehman reading the 2019 AGM minutes, was provided for viewing with the AGM invitation. They were not read at the meeting. Leah asked for a motion to approve the minutes. Rebecca Connors moved to accept the minutes, and Sandy Rogers seconded. All approved. Motion carried. In accordance with gathering restrictions during the pandemic, the minutes were sent to Paul Carter and Leah Sadler to be signed and returned to Action Read. The minutes were signed by Paul Carter and Leah Sadler. 4, financial statement 2019-2020. Leah introduced Action Read's auditors, Vicki Curtis and Janelle Vanhee, chartered accountants from Curtis Villar Chartered Accountants. Vicki Curtis provided a summary of Action Read's 2019-2020 financial statement found on page 8 of the annual report. Linda corrected the acronym referring to the Ministry of Labor, Training and Skills Development to MLTSD. Connor asked if there were any expenses that would significantly increase or decrease over the next year due to the pandemic. Linda responded that there will be increases in some areas and decreases in others, and that there will be need to be flexible given the situation. Connor also asked how fundraising will be impacted over the next year. Linda explained that our usual fundraisers were not able to take place this year, but that our funding from the MLTSD and the United Way has been confirmed. We will re-examine this with a new fiscal year to determine how to proceed. Rebecca Connors asked if the training support allowance, TSA, will continue. Linda explained that these funds have been used to help some learners acquire their refurbished laptops, and that once we are back, transportation support will be available again for eligible learners. Vanessa Highland asked about funding that might be available for any learners who are not able to afford computers. Mira clarified that Action Read is presently using TSA funds for this purpose. Leah asked for a motion to approve the 2019-2020 financial statement. Connor McKenna made a motion to accept the financial statement as presented by Curtis Villar Chartered Accountants. Deb Donaldson seconded. All approved, motion carried. Leah then asked for a motion to accept Curtis Villar Chartered Accountants as the auditor for the 2020-2021 fiscal year. Doug Schneider moved to accept the motion, and Colleen Harper seconded. All approved, motion carried. 6, bylaws. Leah explained the purpose of the bylaws. Since there were no bylaw changes or additions this year, no vote is needed. 7, annual report 2019-2020. This year's annual report was presented in the form of a slideshow presentation. Paper copies are available upon request. As well, the report will be posted on the Action Read website, www.actionread.com. 8, strategic plan. Leah presented the new 5-year strategic plan, explaining the process that went into creating it. Members were given the opportunity to ask questions and obtain clarification. 9, elections. Leah reviewed the board of directors structure. She explained that this year there are 5 board positions to fill: 1 volunteer position, 1 community position, 2 learner positions, and 1 family literacy position. A, volunteer position, Lange Frost. After a few words of introduction from the candidate, Leah asked for a motion to accept the nomination of Lange Frost. Rebecca Connors moved to accept the nomination. Colleen Harper seconded. All in favor, motion passed. Since there is 1 position to fill and no other candidates have come forward, the candidate won by acclamation. B, community position, Paul Carter. After a few words of introduction from the candidate, Leah asked for a motion to accept the nomination of Paul Carter. Douglas Schneider moved to accept the nomination. Rebecca Connors seconded. All in favor, motion passed. Since there is 1 position to fill and no other candidates have come forward, the candidate won by acclamation. C, learner position number 1, Genevieve Dederoy. After a few words of introduction from the candidate, Leah asked for a motion to accept the nomination of Genevieve Dederoy. Deb Donaldson moved to accept the nomination. Melanie Stronach-Carr seconded. All in favor, motion passed. D, learner position number 2, Sandy Rogers. After a few words of introduction from the candidate, Leah asked for a motion to accept the nomination of Sandy Rogers. Deb Donaldson moved to accept the nomination. Melanie Stronach-Carr seconded. All in favor, motion passed. Since there are 2 positions to fill and 2 candidates have come forward, the candidates have won by acclamation. E, family literacy position, Denise Hollingsworth. After a few words of introduction from the candidate, Leah asked for a motion to accept the nomination of Denise Hollingsworth. Rebecca Connors moved to accept the nomination. Deb Donaldson seconded. All in favor, motion passed. Since there is 1 position to fill and no other candidates have come forward, the candidate won by acclamation. Leah asked for a motion to accept the candidates Lange Frost, Paul Carter, Genevieve Dederoy, Sandy Rogers, and Denise Hollingsworth as new members of the Action Read Board of Directors. James Gray moved to accept the candidates. Deb Donaldson seconded. All in favor, motions accepted. Trainee position. Leah explained the purpose of the trainee position. Anyone interested was asked to speak with Mira. Our 2020-2021 Board of Directors is Colleen Harper, Denise Hollingsworth, James Gray, Jeff Guittard, Genevieve Dederoy, Lange Frost, Leah Sadler, Paul Carter, Paul Mesman, and Sandy Rogers. 10, thanks and awards. Thanks. Mira reintroduced the 2019-2020 Board of Directors. She highlighted their contributions to Action Read, acknowledged their hard work during their term, and thanked them for their care, generosity, and commitment throughout the years. She wished those leaving the board best of luck in their upcoming endeavors. A short jib-jab video was shared in the spirit of fun and as an additional thank you to the previous board. Colleen Harper and Rebecca Connors provided heartfelt thank you to the Action Read staff. Joanne Morant thanked the incredible Action Read volunteers who fill so many important roles. The accomplishments of our members were also acknowledged. Jeff Guittard introduced and thanked Action Read staff. Adam Gonsalves, Group Learning Coordinator. Brenda McDonald, Family Literacy Coordinator. Jan Sherman, First Nations, Métis, and Inuit Adult Creative Writing Facilitator. Joanne Morant, One-to-One Coordinator. Linda Lehman, Finance Manager. Lynn Verino, Administrative Assistant. Mira Clarke, Executive Director. A special celebratory slideshow was presented in honor of Linda Lehman's 30 years at Action Read. Awards. As each of the awards were presented, a brief history of each was given, and the accomplishments of the recipients were shared as outlined in the annual report. Betty Bean Kennedy Memorial Award for Outstanding Literacy Volunteer, presented by Jeff Guitar to Joyce Allen. After Jeff spoke about Joyce's contributions, Joyce thanked the community for the award and assured everyone that she would continue her volunteering at Action Read. Doris Middleton Award, presented by Joanne Morant to Scott Everett. Joanne welcomed and acknowledged the Middleton family, Bonnie, David, and Sherry Middleton, for being present. She heartily thanked them for their continued support of Action Read and the award in honor of their mother. Joanne shared Scott's story. Bonnie Middleton congratulated Scott. Bonnie also shared a memory of her mom speaking at the For the Love of Words event, her feelings about Action Read, and the impact it had on her life. Scott thanked everyone for the award, and especially his tutor, Christine, for the work they do together and the progress he has made. Action Read Community Award, presented by Melanie Stronach Carr to Nancy Baker and the Retired Teachers of Ontario, Wellington District 31. After Melanie presented the award to Nancy, Nancy spoke briefly about their organization and the unique relationship shared by Retired Teachers of Ontario, Wellington District 31, and Action Read. Shirley Almack Award, presented by Courtney Townsend to Colleen Harper. Colleen thanked everyone for the award. A CTV video and video segment, interview and video segment with Colleen nominating Action Read for their Community Heroes feature was shared with everyone. 13, closing of meeting and announcements. Leah congratulated all the award winners. Announcements. Mira announced that Action Read is about to start some office renovations. These renovations will fulfill our strategic planning objective to make improvements to the learning space to increase comfort and programming options. The renovation will allow for greater distances between people in the center, which will be safer when we resume in-person services. Mira acknowledged and thanked the following organizations for their emergency funding they provided to Action Read: City of Guelph, United Way, Guelph Wellington Dufferin, and the Guelph Community Foundation. Mira introduced the One Book, One Community project that Action Read is launching with the book, This Red Line Goes Straight to Your Heart, by local author Madhur Anand. The first event, taking place next week on Wednesday, September 30th, 2020, here on Zoom, will be a Meet the Author event facilitated by Bar Minette of the Bookshelf. As well, Leah will facilitate and lead the One Book, One Community book club starting Thursday, October 15th, 2020 for 4 weeks. Various guest speakers will attend and contribute to the discussions. Leah asked for a motion to close the meeting. Connor McKenna moved to close the 2020 annual general meeting, and Deb Donaldson seconded. All approved, motion carried, meeting adjourned. And that, my friends, is the 2020 minutes from our annual general meeting.